So in 2007, when I taught at Grant, I taught the special ed population, the special ed class. Now the special ed population is a population that consists of students with learning disabilities, behavioral challenges, many challenges. And they took math. And people told me, Raja, these are special ed kids. They're special day classes. They cannot do the same math as everyone else. Right? They expected me to dumb it down. And I said, no, we're not going to dumb it down. I think that these kids can do the same math and algebra as the general ed kids. I challenge them. You know? And check it out. In 2007, this is when the whole creative instructional model, I would say, started. As you can see, the special day class on the very left outperformed Grant General Ed and the District General Ed on the final exam in 2007. And then, same thing in 2008. The special ed class was outperforming their peers. Something was working. And then in 2008, I taught the general ed population. You know, mainstream classes, mostly kids who have failed all their life. That's why they're taking algebra in the 9th grade at Grant High School. They have failed. They're below grade level. And on the California State exam, as you can see, the C.R.E.A.T.E students who are on the bottom, the red, they outperformed the state average on the California State exam. Their mean average is higher. Furthermore, you'll see that we closed the racial achievement gap. Right? We closed the racial achievement gap. You can see that the African American and Latino students who were taught under the C.R.E.A.T.E model outperformed their white peers in the state. Furthermore, we closed the income achievement gap. All of my students qualified for free reduced lunch. Our school is about 90% or more under the poverty line, below the poverty line. Yet, they outperformed high-income students in the state on algebra. So the notion that poor black and brown kids cannot succeed was destroyed. You see? It was destroyed. Now, 2 years ago, I've also started teaching this program called the C.R.E.A.T.E. The C.R.E.A.T.E is basically a partnership between UC Davis and Grant High School. The C.R.E.A.T.E stands for Patrons Achieving College. Now, the mission of the C.R.E.A.T.E is to do this. Is to take 30 kids who have all failed math, algebra, or never taken algebra, and they're incoming 9th graders. And during the summer, between 8th and 9th grade, they all take algebra in just 6 weeks. And they have to pass it, pass the district final exam, and get all 10 credits in just 6 weeks. That's a huge challenge. See? And these are all kids who failed. So last year, people didn't believe it could be done. But you know, we love challenges. Goals inspire us, right? So last year, the results of the C.R.E.A.T.E. When they came in, their pre-test in algebra was, as you can see, 15 out of 50. It became 42 out of 50 at the end of 6 weeks. Students who all failed, who've been written off as behavior issues, you can't do it. Yes, I can. See? They made 169% growth in just 6 weeks. And where are those kids now? We have 28 kids, all students from low-income families who failed all their life. They are, ladies and gentlemen, they are in Algebra 2 now. In 9th grade, if you are in Algebra 2, you can complete Algebra 2. You are twice or thrice as likely to get a bachelor's degree from college. Because I told you, math is the gateway. It's the best predictor. See? 28, and some of those students there will tell you, some of those students there are in Algebra 2. They're on their way. They're on their way. As a result of the C.R.E.A.T.E. So, sorry, forgive me. So, what's the secret? That's the point, right? What's the secret? Okay. So, I'm going to briefly share an overview of the C.R.E.A.T.E instructional model. Now, following this speech, we're going to do a workshop. We're actually going to go step by step through the model. I'm just going to share with you a brief overview now, okay, with this model. So, that's the C.R.E.A.T.E model, and 4 key principles I'm going to share with you. Okay. At the heart of this instructional model, that is the potential solution to the crisis of failure, is this, ladies and gentlemen. Teachers taking personal responsibility. If you fail, I fail. Teaching is not about just lecturing and teaching, it's about learning. If you fail, I have failed. Now this applies from kindergarten to college. The whole everything. K through 12 and college. Right? If you fail, I fail. See, the way I see it is, I'm like a doctor. If my students are failing, that's like me telling my patients are dying. I have failed as a doctor. Right? See, the doctor, he's a good doctor, he's a great doctor. He's saying, If she does not feel better, then I have not cured her. It's not about how much medicine I gave. Has she walked out of here feeling better? Same thing with the teacher. If she has not learned, I haven't taught her. I haven't taught her. So it's a personal responsibility. So principle number 1, I'm going to create instructional model that applies to every classroom in America. Teach the way students learn. How do they want to be taught? It's not about the way I want to learn. And here's a brief example. Yeah. See, when we solve equations, right? Can anybody tell me? When you solve, you're trying to get x by what? By, who said that? By itself, right? Okay, so here's a simple example. Here's how I teach solving equations. Really simple. See, when I teach solving, I don't intimidate the kids with x, y, and z. They get turned off. They get turned off. So I tell them, x is just a dog. And you're trying to get the dog by itself in its own neighborhood. You're relating it. So, there's the dog. Now, the dog has its own neighborhood, and he's telling you to get out. Like the Terminator did. And then equals is the gate that protects the dog's neighborhood. If you cross the gate, you must change your operation from an adding to a subtract, a positive to a negative, negative to a positive. So, in this equation, right, what number is on the dog's side? 4. Spit it out. 4, right? So the 4 must cross the bridge before the dog bites it. I'm telling you, the dog is mad. So the 4 runs and becomes a negative, because you do the opposite of a positive, and see? The dog is happy. The dog is alone. That's the goal of solving. Get the dog alone. You see? That's a very simple way of putting it in their language. It's not about me trying to be something I'm not. It's about me trying to connect with them, finding commonalities, finding similarities. And every one of us has similarities to students. But I'm still going to be myself. All of us can relate to dogs and stuff like that. So anyway, principle number 2, essentials. It's not about teaching cover to cover, page by page. It's not, it's called drive-by instruction, ladies and gentlemen. Drive-by instruction. When you do a drive-by? Drive-by means you just race through the book. You just race through the car. You just drive by. It's not about drive-by. It's about focusing on the key essential concepts until they master those essential concepts. It's not about coverage. It's about learning the key concepts. So, I focus on the essentials. That's what I'm trying to say. Pedro Noguera said, it's not about how much we've covered, college professors, teachers, etc. It's about how much they're learning the key concepts. How much learning is happening with the key concepts. Principle number 3, assess and master in class. This is the most radical, significant principle of this model. You must master the objective before you leave my class. And let me tell you an example. It's a perfect example. Okay? Let's say I'm a swimming instructor. I teach swimming, right? My job is not done if I just simply teach the kid how to swim and then say, okay, man, go to your house and practice swimming. He might go to his house and practice swimming. And what might happen? All I did was just teach him and send him. What might happen to him? He might drown, right? Or she might drown. So my point is, my students have to master the objective every day before they leave the door and show me evidence through a concrete assignment. The kid has to swim 4 laps in a row, back and forth in front of me, before I let him go home and practice. I can't just teach him and give him homework. I have to make sure that he can do it in front of me before he leaves. That's what I'm talking about. See? Make sure the students have mastered the objective in class. It's not about teaching, go home and do page 78. How do you know if he can do it himself? That's a radical, really important principle. And providing immediate intervention for those who cannot do it. Like she said, after school. I don't let them slip. They got to go back to school right away if they don't understand the objective. Because children respond to expectations of their environments. No way out. No way out. Principle number 4. Principle number 4 is rewarding class culture. We have to make it cool to succeed. This is probably the most overlooked aspect of teaching. John Dewey. Anybody heard of John Dewey? John Dewey says, the most neglected yet important factor that underlies success is motivation, but it's overlooked, right? And let me tell you something. President Obama has said this before. He says, there is a slander that says a black kid carrying a book is acting white. It's not cool to carry a book. You're acting white. Roland Fryer from Harvard, he says that there is an inverse correlation between GPA and peer popularity for African American and Latino students. So if your GPA is going up, you're not cool among your peers. You're looked down upon among your peers. See? We must change this negativity. So therefore the classroom has to be an arena of rewarding success, where you use positive reinforcement. So make it cool to succeed. So I use points, treats, and I'm going to go over that during the workshop. How do you create this culture where students are buying in? I use a scoreboard a little bit later. So the point is, can this model be replicated? Is it just Raja? No, it's not. It can be replicated. As you see, last year I'm a instructional coach, so I help teach and stuff, right? Last year there was a 150% growth in the number of students that were proficient in other teachers' classrooms. In other teachers' classrooms who use this model. So this is replicable by any teacher of any race, anything, who believes in students. Number two, there was a 10% increase in the number of kids passing math at grants. This can be done. This is a potential solution. It can be done. So therefore it is replicable. So the last question is this. How do we promote greatness so that all teachers and all educators will embrace this instructional model C.R.E.A.T.E, or they will find their own C.R.E.A.T.E? They don't have to be me. They're going to be a better version of what they're already doing. They're going to improve what they're already doing. Right? How do we help them so they find their own magic? So here's my answer. Teachers cannot do it alone. I've learned that. Teachers cannot be given a creative instructional model and said, okay man, provide magic. Teachers cannot do it alone. Every school must adopt a culture of excellence. School culture of any institution, the culture is overlooked, but it's significant. The school must adopt a culture of excellence that motivates teachers, students, and parents, and all stakeholders, all people, because everybody's working together. It's not just the students and teachers. If you neglect, well, Pedro Laguerre says, too many institutions, they neglect the whole positive culture aspect. Really important. So, here's what I'm talking about. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy, he says, how do we promote culture? How do we motivate people? We must, number one, address their sense of challenge. People want to be challenged. They want to have a goal. Goals inspire us. We need to have a tangible goal for teachers, for students, for counselors, for parents. A tangible goal. Here's what you're shooting for. It cannot be vague. Number two, Maslow says we must have a sense of belonging. We must belong to something. That's what gangs are about. We must belong to something positive. Number three, we must have, we must have recognition, value. All of us want to be valued and feel important, and feel recognized. And that is sorely missing in a lot of our institutions. Everyone here likes to be recognized. Do you like to be recognized? I know you do. Yes, I can feel it. So,